Welcome back to our channel. My name is Dr. Carroll, and I am one of the owners of Oasis Wellness Partners in Scarborough, one of the chiropractors. And today, as we promised, we're interviewing another one of our wonderful practitioners, Leah Wentworth, who's here to share with you about her amazing work she does at Oasis called EFT, an acronym for Emotional Freedom Technique. Now, who doesn't want emotional freedom? The ability to have emotions that are perfect for you for your evolution. So today we're going to talk a little bit about that so you know what it is, so that you know when you should use it in your tool bag, because our goal at Oasis is always to allow you to have more tools to become more peaceful, more healthy, more joyous, and to achieve your health goals and your life goals. And this is one of the things in your tool bag that we have found is amazing and has done some miracles for some people, and it's great work. So Leah, would you tell just a little bit about your background, if you can, and just a little bit about how EFT came to you in terms of a tool, and then we'll talk a little bit about how it works and that part. Just a little bit about your journey.
Yeah. So I started as a holistic health coach, went to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and through that I was introduced to a lot of different modalities and a lot of different diets and great stuff. So that I jumped in as a life coach and really helping people, find better health. And I quickly realized, for myself as well as many of my clients, that there was a lot of emotional stuff that was attached to how it was hard to make change and how it was hard to find ways to become their healthiest, best selves. So I really went down that road of looking at people's emotions and the energy in our bodies. And I also studied Reiki as well and used that with some clients too. So it's really about the energy system for me and how our emotions can work with that and against that.
Beautiful. I think one of the things I heard you say one time was about the idea that it's sort of like, does the emotional work from the inside or in the conversations that you have? Is that part of the work? So how about just tell us a little bit about how a session might run?
Yeah. So EFT really works. It's also known as tapping out there in the world, because we're actually physically tapping when we do this work. We're tapping on meridians, which are part of the energy system, just like in acupuncture. Some of those same points are used, and so we go around and we tap. And while we're talking about things that are challenging for us, issues that we have, emotional traumas or experiences or fears that are coming up, and so what this does is it helps the body understand that when we have this issue, we're okay. Because we're talking about this issue that gets us all riled up and full of fear and anxiety and stress, and yet we're tapping, and while we're tapping, that's calming the nervous system down. So it creates new pathways for us to understand ourselves differently, so we don't have to be in that stress response all the time when we have certain things that come up that usually cause us so much stress. And a lot of that is like these underlying issues where we're like this constant not happy with our bodies, or feeling like we're not good enough at certain things, or a failure in relationships, or things along those lines that kind of when we come up against those things in our life, we feel stressed, we feel anxious. And so we can change those patterns and release those emotions and release the energy that gets stuck with those emotions. And so that's really, it's kind of, to me, it's sort of like this guide back to your soul, because I feel like all of those layers of things that we feel aren't right about ourselves kind of prevent us from being our best, happiest self.
Right.
And so it's kind of like helping to understand and release all those things that kind of stop us up. Right. And allow us to flow.
Right. So how would I know to go? How would I know to go to see someone for EFT? And I think from what you're saying, it may be just when you're finding a block, or just you want to just have a tune-up and make sure. Is that true?
Yeah. It's we start where you're at. So it can be related to like, oh, I'm having chronic headaches and I can't seem to figure out, and help them go away. And so we start there and figure out, well, what is the emotional piece of these headaches that, you could come to chiropractor and get all lined up so that hopefully you won't have the headaches, but you're still having these headaches. So, well, maybe there's an emotional component that's also participating in those headaches. And so we very quickly, and I don't really know how I do it, it's an intuitive thing.
Yes.
Get to what it is that's related to the headache or the pain in your back or the, digestive issues, whatever is going on in your body, or you just feel stressed out. You're just feeling stressed out. Like that's a good thing to come say, hey, what emotional things do I have going on that are contributing to this stress? Right.
So Leah, you guide the speaking conversation, right? Yes. So you're asking questions of the person. So I think one of the things I've heard people say to me, well, like, I don't know where to begin. But Leah brings you there, like with her intuition, which she is amazing at. You help the person get to the place of that critical place. Yeah.
I ask really good questions and I listen to your response, and then I actually do the speaking for you and you repeat after me, kind of call and response sort of thing that really frees people up to then start experimenting on their own when they go home. And that's the thing I really love about EFT, is that you can use it anytime, all day, wherever you are, whenever you are. So you don't have to wait till your next appointment or whatever. You can start using this tool on your own. And, it's helpful to have a guide because you can get deeper and look for areas that you might not be willing to kind of go to on your own.
Exactly.
But you can also just use it whenever you're comfortable to just help yourself feel more relaxed.
You've touched a little bit on some type of people that you might have been seeing. Could you speak to a little bit of some journeys that you've had already at Oasis that have been pretty, just a lovely story for people to know what's possible with EFT?
Well, I think for an example, one woman was coming because she was really terrified of needles. And, it started out with this journey around needles, and we really got to this place where she realized there were some other emotional blocks inside of her that she couldn't even say the word needle without starting to sweat and feel overwhelmed. And so, got at some really core issues for her, and she feels, came to the point where she feels like, I've just really know who I am better. I feel like I've blossomed and kind of am running my life now and not just going through the motions and responding and reacting to everything, and I'm making better choices for myself. And I still have some fears of needles, but I can talk about needles and I can talk about it, and I know so much better. So we're still working together, but just where she's come from, like, I can't even think about that, to like, okay, so I have this fear and I'm okay with it, and I'm gonna get there, and all these other things that we've discovered in the meantime that have changed all these other aspects in her life. So it's kind of
amazing.
That's really the unfolding. Is it's not always, oh, I have this specific issue and I'm healed from it in a few sessions. It's like, oh, there's a lot here, and we kind of go where we're feeling called and what feels important to.
Right. We talk about that in our work in chiropractic, where there's a dashboard light. And so some of these little things might be dashboard lights. And what Leah's doing and what you do with your adjustment is we open up that hood of the car and we say, okay, what can we work on here? Oh, the spark plugs are a little dusty and dirty. So you go in and really do a fine tuning tune-up. So as I said in the very beginning, you have a tool bag where this woman now has another tool. And as she sees her responsivity to stress and life and adaptation, she can use it for other things.
And she does use it on her own, which is like,
so cool.
That increases the speed at which you're able to adjust,
evolve,
and tune your car up.
Right? Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Leah. I really appreciate you coming to speak to our community, and know that Oasis is here for you. Leah appointments can be made right at the desk for her. We know exactly when she'll be here, and we look forward to her being here. So make appointments, come and see what you can unfold, and take some time to really become free.